All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I am Saira Mujtaba and with me is Anuja Kumar. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to release next installment of financial benefit under PM Kisan scheme today. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage reaches 50 crore 68 lakh mark. Schools in national capital to partially open for students of classes 10 to 12 from today. Maharashtra government allows fully vaccinated people to travel in Mumbai suburban local trains from 15th of this month. New set of COVID-19 restrictions comes into force in Tamil Nadu today. Prime Minister to chair UNSC high-level open debate on enhancing maritime security this evening. NIA raids 56 locations of Jamaat-e-Islami in Jammu and Kashmir in terror funding case. Sports Authority of India to felicitate all Tokyo Olympics medal winners at Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in New Delhi this evening. And in cricket, first test between India and England ends in a draw due to rain. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is going on, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also help others get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011 2397 8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will release the next installment of financial benefit under Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi PM Kisan scheme at 12:30 p.m. today through video conferencing. This will enable the transfer of an amount of over 19,500 crore rupees to more than 9 crore 75 lakh beneficiary farmer families. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said that the government is working continuously to make the life of the hard-working farmers of the country easier. He said, PM Kisan scheme has brought positive changes in the lives of the farmers, which is a matter of great joy. Addressing the farmer community last time while releasing the installment, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had said that this scheme is benefiting the small and marginal farmers in a large way.
पीएम किसान सम्मान निधि से विशेष रूप से छोटे और मझोले किसानों को अधिक लाभ हो रहा है। आज के कठिन समय में ये राशि इन किसान परिवारों के बहुत काम आ रही है। अभी तक इस योजना के तहत देश के लगभग 11 करोड़ किसानों के पास लगभग 1,35,000 करोड़ रुपए पहुंच चुके हैं। कोई बिचौलिया नहीं। इनमें से सिर्फ कोरोना काल में ही 60,000 करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा पहुंचे हैं।
Our correspondent reports that during the event, the Prime Minister will address the nation and also interact with beneficiary farmers.
PM Kisan scheme was launched in 2019 with an aim to provide income support to all landholder farmer families across the country. Under the scheme, a financial benefit of 6,000 rupees per year is provided to the eligible beneficiary farmer families payable in 3 installments of 2,000 rupees each. The scheme is being implemented as central sector scheme with 100% financial support by the central government. The fund is transferred directly to the bank accounts of the beneficiaries. Under the scheme, Samman Rashi of over 1,38,000 crore rupees has been transferred to the farmer families so far. With Dipendra Anand Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
Ayush Minister Sarbanand Sonowal is scheduled to introduce the National Commission for Homeopathy Amendment Bill 2021 in Lok Sabha today. The bill seeks to amend the National Commission for Homeopathy Act 2020. Mr. Sonowal will also introduce the National Commission for Indian System of Medicine Amendment Bill 2021. The lower house is also scheduled to take up the Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation Amendment Bill 2021, the Limited Liability Partnership Amendment Bill 2021 and the Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order Amendment Bill 2021 for discussion today. In Rajya Sabha, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is scheduled to move the Tribunals Reforms Bill 2021 and the General Insurance Business Nationalization Amendment Bill 2021 for consideration and passage.
The COVID vaccination certificate can now be downloaded by sending a message on a WhatsApp number. In a tweet, Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia said people can get COVID-19 vaccination certificate through MyGov Corona Help Desk by following 3 easy steps. He said the people have to type and send COVID certificate on WhatsApp number 9013151515. Mr. Mandavia said the people have to enter the OTP and they will get their certificate in seconds. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has crossed 50 crore 68 lakh. Over 55 lakh 91,000 vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours. A total of 43,910 patients recovered during last 24 hours. The recovery rate is currently at 97.39%. Over 3 crore 10 lakh 99,000 people have recovered across the country so far. More than 39,000 new cases were reported in last 24 hours. India's active case load is currently 4 lakh 6,822. Active cases constitute 1.27% of the total cases. A total of 491 deaths were reported in the last 24 hours. Testing capacity has been substantially ramped up and 48 crore tests have been conducted in total.
Schools in the national capital have been allowed to partially open for students of classes 10 to 12 from today. According to an order released by the Delhi Disaster Management Authority, DDMA, students of classes 10 to 12 in Delhi are permitted to visit their schools for admission-related work, including counselling, guidance and practical activities related to board exams. As per the order, health checkups and referral services situated in schools or conducted from there can resume. It said children of all ages may visit these centres accompanied by their parents or guardians. The Directorate of Education will issue appropriate guidelines with respect to these permitted activities to ensure that COVID-19 protocols are followed and children's safety is ensured. Giving further relaxations in COVID-induced restrictions with effect from today, the DDMA in its order said that all authorized weekly markets are now allowed, subject to strict compliance of guidelines issued by the government. However, no unauthorized weekly market is allowed to function. In Bihar, COVID vaccination crossed over 2 crore 75 lakh mark in the state. The state ranked 8th in the country with respect to vaccination. Meanwhile, over 7,15,000 people have so far recovered from the coronavirus infection. The state recovery rate has risen to above 98%, while the test positivity rate has declined to below 1%. Active cases came down to 309. 19 districts, including Darbhanga, Khagadia and Madhepura, did not register any new case, and 10 other districts reported only 1 case each.
Gujarat has recorded 25 new cases of COVID-19 during the last 24 hours. According to the State Health Department, the recovery rate has remained 98.75%. We have more from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
14 patients recovered and discharged from the various hospitals during the last 24 hours in Gujarat. Maximum 5 new cases reported in Surat city, while Ahmedabad recorded 4 new cases. No death was reported due to COVID-19 in the state yesterday. Meanwhile, 3,85,461 people have been vaccinated in Gujarat yesterday. More than 3 crore 65 lakh people have been vaccinated in the state till now. Out of these, nearly 90 lakh people have completed the second dose of the vaccine. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
Suburban local train services will be available for common man from 15th of August. Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray announced that those people who have completed 14 days after taking the second dose of COVID vaccine will be allowed to commute via local trains. More from a correspondent.
From last few months, services of Mumbai Local are available only for healthcare workers, essential service employees and government servants. To avoid crowding, all others have been asked to use other modes of public and private transport. As COVID-19 situation eased in Mumbai, many citizens and political parties were demanding to open local services for common man. Addressing the people of the state, Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray agreed to this demand and said passes will be issued to the people who have completed their vaccination. He said a mobile mobile app has been designed and people have to register on it by entering valid information. Those who don't have smartphones can get this pass from BMC's offices and ticket windows of railway stations. In Mumbai, Thane and Palghar district, more than 31 lakh citizens are vaccinated with both doses. They can avail local train services from 15th August. Jeevan Bhavsar, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Tamil Nadu, a new set of restrictions comes into force from this morning to curb the spread of COVID-19. As part of the extended lockdown conditions, all places of worship will remain closed for devotees on Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays to avoid crowding. The State Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has announced that the new lockdown norms will be in force for 2 weeks till the 23rd of this month. Meanwhile, the state witnessed 1,956 new COVID-19 cases yesterday, while 1,807 people recovered. A report from our correspondent.
The Tamil Nadu government is contemplating on reopening of schools for the 9th to 12th classes from 1st September with 50% attendance and also by following COVID-appropriate behaviors. It is aimed at avoiding learning gaps that normally arise due to prolonged online classes. It is also to overcome the complaints of lack of gadgets for online courses for all and to avoid the net connectivity issues that are being reported often from different places. Furthermore, medical and paramedical colleges are allowed to reopen from the 16th of this month, most of whose students are already vaccinated. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
The 4-day monsoon session of Madhya Pradesh Assembly will begin today. State Assembly Principal Secretary A.P. Singh informed that the Assembly Secretariat had received 1,184 questions from legislators, besides 236 calling attention notices. More from our Bhopal correspondent.
Vaccination against COVID-19 will be mandatory for entry into the Assembly during the session. A total of 4 sittings will take place during the session, which will conclude on August 12th. Meanwhile, Assembly Speaker Girish Gautam convened an all-party meeting on Sunday to ensure smooth functioning of the session. A booklet prepared for legislators on the use of words in the House was also released on Sunday. In view of the prevailing coronavirus situation, the Speaker has given instructions not to allow any gathering of visitors in the Secretariat premises. Pooja P. Vardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has said that e-Rupee will ensure transfer of benefits to citizens in a leak-proof and transparent manner. He said Prime Minister Narendra Modi is committed to enhance the quality of life of every citizen by greater use of technology. More from our correspondent.
E-Rupee, launched recently by the Prime Minister, is a symbol of how India is progressing by connecting people's lives with technology. It's an innovative instrument for fund transfer to the targeted beneficiary for a specific purpose. By connecting the sponsor of the service provider, and the beneficiary through a digital interface, it ensures service delivery besides acting as a bulwark against corruption. Girish Chandradar, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch the second phase of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, Ujjwala 2.0, by handing over LPG connections at Mahoba in Uttar Pradesh at 12:30 p.m. tomorrow through video conferencing. During the event, the Prime Minister will interact with beneficiaries of the Ujjwala and will also address the nation. During Ujjwala 1.0, launched in 2016, a target was set to provide LPG connections to 5 crore women members of BPL households. Subsequently, the scheme was expanded in April 2018 to include women beneficiaries from 7 more categories, including SC, ST, most backward classes, tea garden and forest dwellers, and islands. Later, the target was revised to 8 crore LPG connections, which was achieved in August 2019, 7 months ahead of the target date. You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to release next installment of financial benefit under PM Kisan scheme today. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage reaches 50 crore 68 lakh mark. Schools in National Capital to partially open for students of classes 10 to 12 from today. Maharashtra government allows fully vaccinated people to travel in Mumbai's suburban local trains from 15th of this month. New set of COVID-19 restrictions comes into force in Tamil Nadu today. Prime Minister to chair UNSC high-level open debate on enhancing maritime security this evening. NIA raids 56 locations of Jamaat-e-Islami in Jammu and Kashmir in terror funding case. Sports Authority of India to felicitate all Tokyo Olympics medal winners at Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in New Delhi this evening. And in cricket, first test between India and England ends in a draw due to rain. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will chair a high-level UN Security Council open debate through video conferencing this evening. Titled, Enhancing Maritime Security, a Case for International Cooperation, it will focus on ways to effectively counter maritime crime and insecurity and strengthen coordination in the maritime domain. Several heads of states and representatives of the United Nations Security Council and key regional organizations will attend the dialogue. The event will be broadcast live on the UN Security Council website. A report.
For the first time, an Indian Prime Minister will be presiding over a UN Security Council open debate. This will be the first time that maritime security will be discussed in a holistic manner as an exclusive agenda item at such a high level. The theme is Enhancing Maritime Security, a Case for International Cooperation. Oceans have played an important part in India's history, right from the time of the Indus Valley civilization. Based on our civilizational ethos that sees the seas as an enabler of shared peace and prosperity, Prime Minister Narendra Modi put forward the vision of SAGAR, an acronym for Security and Growth for All in the region, in 2015. This vision focuses on cooperative measures for sustainable use of the oceans. It provides a framework for a safe, secure and stable maritime domain in the region. In 2019, at the East Asia Summit, this initiative was further elaborated through the Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiative with a focus on 7 pillars of maritime security. These include maritime ecology, maritime resources, capacity building and resource sharing, disaster risk reduction and management, science, technology and academic cooperation, and trade connectivity and maritime transport are the other elements. It is expected that the high-level deliberations at UN Security Council will pave the way for a better coordinated maritime security. With Dr. Atul Tiwari, Abhineet Shukla, AIR News.
Secretary General of SAARC, Isala Rowan Virakon, will meet Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla in New Delhi today. He will also meet Dr. Rajkumar Ranjan Singh, Minister of State for External Affairs, during his week-long visit to India. The South Asian Association of Regional Cooperation, or SAARC, was created in 1985 as a regional grouping. Presently, there are 8 member countries in SAARC, namely Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal, Maldives, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. SAARC is an expression of the region's collective decision to evolve a regional cooperative framework. Mr. Virakon is a Sri Lankan diplomat and assumed charge as the Secretary General of SAARC in March 2020.
In one of its biggest operations in Jammu and Kashmir, National Investigative Agency (NIA) conducted raids in over 50 locations in 14 districts linked to the banned outfit Jamaat-e-Islam in connection with a terror funding case. The NIA sleuths, assisted by J&K Police and CRPF, conducted raids at the residences of members of Jamaat-e-Islami, an outfit that was banned by the central government in 2019 due to its pro-Pakistan and pro-separatist leanings. The raids were conducted in Srinagar, Badgam, Ganderbal, Baramulla, Kupwara, Bandipur, Anantnag, Shopian, Pulwama, Kulgam, Ramban, Doda, Kishtwar and Rajouri districts. Jamaat-e-Islami was looking to fund terror outfits such as Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, Hizbul Mujahideen in Jammu and Kashmir. Jamaat-e-Islami wanted to increase terrorist and stone-pelting activities in the valley, which have declined after the abrogation of Article 370 in 2019. Minister of State for Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, Dr. Jitendra Singh, has said that the Divyang children of a deceased government servant and pensioner will get major hike in the family pension emoluments. He informed that the instructions to this effect have been issued by the Department of Pensions and Pensioners' Welfare. Briefing about this landmark decision, Dr. Singh said it is in keeping with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's special emphasis on the dignity and care of such children. The minister has issued instructions that such child who is suffering from a mental or physical disability shall be eligible for family pension for life if his or her overall income other than family pension is less than the entitled family pension at ordinary rate of 30% of the last pay drawn by the deceased government servant and pensioner plus the dearness relief admissible thereon.
Ayush Minister Sarbanand Sonowal has assured all help for establishing the first biobank of the world in Ayurveda at All India Institute of Ayurveda in New Delhi. Mr. Sonowal and Minister of State for Ayush, Dr. Munjapara Mahendrabhai, visited the institute and inaugurated a multi-purpose yoga hall and a mini auditorium yesterday. Chhattisgarh Governor Anusuya Uike has said that the tribals of Chhattisgarh have played an important role in the freedom struggle. Talking to AIR News, the governor said that during the freedom struggle, there were many such heroes whose contributions and sacrifices were not recorded in history as prominently as they deserved.
अंग्रेजों की शोषण नीति के खिलाफ छत्तीसगढ़ की स्थानीय जनता, विशेषकर बस्तर, सरगुजा, रायगढ़ क्षेत्र में आदिवासी समुदाय ने विद्रोह कर दिया था। ये संघर्ष 1857 की क्रांति से पहले ही छत्तीसगढ़ में शुरू हो चुके थे। यहाँ के वनवासियों ने समय समय पर अंग्रेजों के खिलाफ संघर्ष किया। छत्तीसगढ़ के वनवासी क्षेत्रों में स्वाधीनता के लिए ऐसे अनेक संघर्ष हुए, जिनमें कोई संघर्ष बस्तर की रानी का संघर्ष, मुरिया संघर्ष आदि प्रमुख रूप से जाने जाते हैं।
She said that Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav will help people to enlighten themselves about India's freedom struggle and its unsung heroes.
In the run-up to the Independence Day, we bring you stories on sectors which have made major impact on the lives of citizens. In this series, today we bring you a report on Skill India and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises MSME. In the last 7 years, nearly 1.25 crore youths from different regions of the country have been trained under the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Addressing the youth on the occasion of World Youth Skills Day on 15th of last month, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said India's skilled workforce helped the country to fight against the COVID pandemic.
इस वैश्विक महामारी की चुनौतियों ने वर्ल्ड यूथ स्किल डे की अहमियत को कई गुना बढ़ा दिया। एक और बात जो महत्वपूर्ण है वो ये कि हम इस समय अपनी आजादी के 75 वर्ष का पर्व मना रहे हैं। 21वीं सदी में पैदा हुए आज के युवा भारत की विकास यात्रा को आजादी के 100 वर्ष तक आगे बढ़ाने वाले हैं। इसलिए नई पीढ़ी के युवाओं का स्किल डेवलपमेंट एक राष्ट्रीय जरूरत है। आत्मनिर्भर भारत का बहुत बड़ा आधार है।
Our correspondent reports that the Skill India scheme is a smart initiative that works towards the development of country as a whole.
Skill India is an initiative of the government to empower the youth with skill sets, making them more employable. The Skill India program has numerous benefits and its objective is to enable youth to take up training in order to secure a better livelihood. India has set a target to train more than 40 crore youth by next year. Under the Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushal Yojana, 10,81,000 candidates have been trained and around 7 lakhs got placement. The government has also taken several steps for technology advancement, skill development and job creation for empowerment of MSME sector. It has simplified the registration process for the MSMEs and now only PAN card and Aadhaar is required for registration. The government has also come out with emergency credit line guarantee scheme to help MSME sector affected due to COVID pandemic. With Dipendra Kumar, Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
India's Tokyo Olympic medalists will be felicitated in New Delhi this evening by Sports Authority of India. The felicitation ceremony will be held at Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in the capital. India has created history by winning 7 medals in Tokyo Olympics, 1 gold, 2 silver and 4 bronze. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated the Indian contingent for their stupendous performance at the Tokyo Olympics. In a series of tweets, Mr. Modi said that every athlete who represented India is a champion. He said that the medals India has won have certainly made the country proud and elated.
In cricket, the first test between India and England in Nottingham has ended in a draw after rain played spoilsport on the final day at Trent Bridge. India was on the verge of winning the opening test as they needed just 157 runs to achieve the target, but rain did not allow the start of the play. Earlier, the visitors bundled out the hosts for 303 in the second innings, riding on Jasprit Bumrah's 5-wicket haul. This is Bumrah's second 5-wicket haul at Trent Bridge. Mohammad Siraj and Shardul Thakur got 2 wickets each. England set a target of 209 runs for India to win the first test. In the first innings, India posted 278 runs in reply to England's 183, taking a lead of 95 runs.
And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. Srinagar may witness a partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature was 18, while maximum will be nearly 31 degrees Celsius. Jammu is going to have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm. The temperature will hover between 26 and 35 degrees Celsius. Leh may have a generally cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm. Temperature will hover between 12 and 26 degrees Celsius. Gilgit is likely to have a generally cloudy sky with possibility of rain. Temperature will vary between 20 and 32 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad is going to witness a partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm. Temperature will hover between 22 and 37 degrees Celsius. National capital Delhi will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. It recorded 26 degrees Celsius as minimum temperature, while maximum will be 34 degrees Celsius. Mumbai is going to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain today. Temperature will hover between 29 and 32 degrees Celsius. Chennai is likely to witness thunderstorm with rain. Kolkata will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain. Hyderabad is expected to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Bengaluru is also expected to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Guwahati may have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of thunder lightning. Temperature will hover between 27 and 36 degrees Celsius. Imphal is likely to have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Temperature will hover between 19 and 27 degrees Celsius. Shillong may have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Temperature will move from 18 to 26 degrees Celsius. Aizawl is also going to have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain. Temperature will hover between 22 and 34 degrees Celsius. Kohima may have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Itanagar is going to have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain. And Gangtok will have a cloudy sky with few spells of rain.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. The dailies have covered prominent stories with ICMR saying mixing vaccines is more effective, dominating all the front pages. The Tribune headlines, mixed Covishield Covaxin doses produce better immunity, says ICMR, while Hindustan Times writes, mixing shots safe and effective, says study. The glittering closing ceremony at the Summer Games has also been widely noticed by the press. The Asian Age carries a picture of the firework display at the ceremony. Hindustan Times quotes the first gold medal winner of India, Neeraj Chopra, in its headline. Neeraj, after gold, says, slept with it next to my pillow. The Delhi Disaster Management Authority easing out restrictions in the capital have also been reported by the press. The Hindu writes, class 10 to 12 students can visit schools, all ready for reopening of weekly markets. And finally, papers have noticed an emotional Messi's farewell who cried profusely even before his valedictory speech. Wasn't ready for this, says tearful Messi as he confirms Barca exit.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to release next installment of financial benefit under PM Kisan scheme today. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage reaches 50 crore 68 lakh mark. Schools in national capital to partially open for students of classes 10 to 12 from today. Maharashtra government allows fully vaccinated people to travel in Mumbai suburban local trains from 15th of this month. New set of COVID-19 restrictions comes into force in Tamil Nadu today. Prime Minister to chair UNSC high-level open debate on enhancing maritime security this evening. NIA raids 56 locations of Jamaat-e-Islami in Jammu and Kashmir in terror funding case. Sports Authority of India to felicitate all Tokyo Olympic medal winners at Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in New Delhi this evening. And in cricket, first test between India and England ends in a draw due to rains. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a great day.